Hey everybody, welcome back to another lesson with 101 Guitar Lessons. My name is Lauren. Today we're going to learn that second part of the bar chord series. We're going to learn the 5th root bar chords, all right? So if you haven't checked out the 6th root bar chords, check out this video here. If you have, then you already know about the triangle of pressure. You already know about everything being based on an open chord shape. So let's talk about what the 5th root bar chords are all based on. Now, if you don't know the notes on the guitar, you might want to check out this video here to learn how to find and learn the notes on the guitar. Super simple and easy, but it's a huge step because if you're going all over the guitar neck, you need to know where your fingers are in order to know the names of the chords that you're playing. All right, let's get into it. Remember, if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe these videos. Every little bit helps. Thanks so much. Here we go. So, with the 6th root bar chords, we learned that they were based on the E major, E minor, and E dominant 7 chord shapes. And that's because it's on the 6th root, 6th being the 6th string. That's where you find the root note, wherever your first finger ends up. So if you're on the 5th fret, this happens to be an A on the 6th string, you're playing an A, either major, minor, or dominant 7 chord shape, based on the E chord shapes that we discussed before. Not to confuse things. But let's jump into the 5th root, okay? So let's ignore the 6th string altogether because we're not going to be playing the 6th string at all. 5th root bar chords means you're going to be barring it from the 5th string to the 1st string. Now remember, you want to go ahead and turn your finger slightly to the side so that you're using the side of your finger and you're applying that triangle of pressure between the tip of your finger and at the same time that second knuckle, okay, of your first finger. Slightly on the side with your thumb. Let's do that on the 1st fret so that you're barring all 5 strings. Arpeggiate it like this. Alright, it doesn't sound like anything musical right now, but... Alright, so you've got all 5 strings coming out clearly. Don't worry if it doesn't sound perfect right now. Don't worry if you have to squeeze really, really hard right now. That will eventually go away, alright? Make slight adjustments until you get the clarity that you need. Now, having said that, last time we discussed the fact that the, what is this called? The nut on the guitar is almost like an invisible fret, or fret 0, if you will. It automatically frets. So if you imagine that this is a fret, go ahead and play an A major chord. Now what's the name of the 5th string? A. So we're going to play an A major chord underneath that. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch our fingers around. Let's take a closer look. So we're going to play that 5th string, A. We're going to play the A major chord that we all know and love. Only from strumming from the 5th string to the 1st. Now, what I want you to do is switch your fingers around so you're playing those notes with your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger. Same notes, see, same. But you're going to imaginarily put your hand here, your finger, across all 5 strings at the 5th. Oh, sorry, behind the 1st fret, or even fret 0, if you will. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to slide that whole shape up 1 fret. All right, this happens to be an A sharp or a B flat note. So therefore, playing that A major chord shape, just the chord shape, we're playing a B flat major or A major chord. Now, if you haven't already recognized this shape, it happens to be very similar to the B major chord. If you don't know the B major chord, then definitely check out that video here. But if you already know it, you'll recognize that chord shape right here on the 2nd fret. That's a B natural. All right, but we don't bar it off. We just play the inside 4 strings, which makes it a bit awkward. Now you can bar it off with your 1st finger so that you're playing the 1st string 2nd fret as well as the 5th string 2nd fret and these fingers underneath. And you've got a fuller sound, okay? So that's based on the A major chord shape. Now, hang tight because I'm going to show you, you're going to notice this feels a little bit awkward. I'm going to show you another way to play that chord at the end of the video, okay? But first I want to show you the different chord shapes. So instead of major, this is major, and if I wanted to go to the 5th fret, this happens to be a D, so this is a D major chord. So a 5th root, D major bar chord. I could play the 6th root here. I could play the 5th root here. I could play the open chord here. Notice it all sounds pretty much the same. Slightly different tonalities because of the different strings and groupings that you're on, but all the same notes, okay? So, back to the A major chord shape. We played it with our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger because we need our 1st finger open to bar off the strings. We're going to play the A minor chord shape. So let's take a closer look. here's the A major. Now we're going to A minor. So this is a typical A minor chord, right? Looks a lot like E major moved over one string. We're going to play that with your second, third, and fourth finger, though, so that your first finger is open and free to bar off from the fifth string to the first. Now, again, we're not actually doing anything here, but we're just sort of visualizing it. So there's our A minor chord. If we slide this up, first fret, this happens to be an A sharp or B flat, so this would be a B flat minor chord. Okay, or a B minor chord, C minor, D minor, you get the idea. So moving that shape around really gives you total control of any chord that you want to play. If you want to play some random, you know, I don't know, F sharp minor chord on the fifth root, well, you have to find F sharp. It happens to be on the 10th fret, and you go ahead and play the minor, that A minor chord shape underneath it. And because you're playing the F sharp root note here, these notes happen to be an F sharp minor chord. Okay? On the 6th root, it would be the same thing. Find the F sharp here. There you go. So now you have the freedom to play any of those sharps and flats and those different chords that come along in the songs that you want to play, and you couldn't before with just open chords. You couldn't get those. So now you can. The last chord shape that you want to learn, of course, is the A dominant 7, or A7. They all mean the same thing. That chord will look something like this. So you've got your A major chord again, and you're just lifting up your second finger. So that's your A7 chord. So go ahead and switch your fingers around so that you're playing that major again with your second, third, and fourth finger instead of your first, because you need your first for other things. And you're going to lift up your third finger. And this is a little bit awkward, right? It feels super, super weird. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use our third and fourth finger to play those notes. And your second finger is just going to hang out and do nothing. Clapton likes to do this, but well, we just kind of hang out and do nothing. So your first finger is going to supposedly barb behind your fifth string, and you're going to move up to the first fret, third fret, fifth fret, and it doesn't matter which fret you go to, it's just a different root note, okay? It will show you, like for example, here's the fifth root, fifth string. You're going to go ahead and play with your third and fourth finger that A7 chord shape underneath it, and that's a D7. D7. It all sounds pretty much the same, and that's it for fifth root bar chords. So there you have it. Those are the fifth root bar chords, major, minor, and dominant 7. Now I promised you earlier on that I'd show you a different way to play the major, and so let's go ahead and do that before we end the video. If you remembered, we used the A major chord shape to play that major bar chord. So let's slide that up to D, all right, just randomly, just because, at the 5th fret. And we're gonna play that A major chord shape underneath here. It still feels a little bit awkward. Let's take a closer look. So this shape feels a bit awkward for me. What I'll do, and you won't typically see it done this way, you'll see it done where you're barring off these three with the 3rd finger. Yes, let's make it even more challenging where you have to bar off this finger and this finger, but that's the way that it's done a lot of the time. You want to know? Now you know. So, you can go ahead and practice just on the A. Now, quite often it's difficult to play the first string, the note on the first string. It's usually muted because you're lifting off your finger right there. But you can practice kind of doing that or not. It depends on your own physical shape of your fingers. I tend to mute the first string when I'm doing that. But you still get the main notes. It's already repeated down there. So if I'm playing the major bar chords on the 5th root, I'll even use my 4th finger sometimes. And I picked that up from watching Robin Ford play. So there is no real right or wrong way. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Or if you're comfortable with this, go for it. It's all the same notes. It's just a matter of how you figure out how to play it in a way that's comfortable for you. So, major, minor, dominant 7, 5th root bar chords. If you haven't checked out the first video, definitely do that. You'll learn the 6th root. So with that, you have the total freedom to play. What we did in the last video was a G blues, a G7 blues. So we play G7 here, C7 here, D7 here. Now that's a bit awkward because you're jumping all over the neck. Now that you know the 6th and 5th root bar chords, you don't have to do that because G's here, C's here on the 5th string, so you can play the dominant 7 A dominant 7 shape on the 5th root bar chord here, and D is right here. So now you're in the same area. The only reason why you'd move is if you want a slightly different tonality, or you want to be available to solo in a different area. So instead of playing this, I'm here going. So now you have it. You have total freedom all over the neck now that you know the 6th root and 5th root bar chords. I hope this video series helped. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. If you have requests for other videos and content, please leave that down there as well. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope this helps a lot of people. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to these videos because every little bit helps. Remember, guitar isn't really a destination. It's more of a journey. So enjoy that journey. I'll see you guys at the next lesson. Bye.